It's that guy, but how? He was shish kebab!
Hello everyone, this is Poohead189, and today we're going to be talking about a very cool and iconic Dragon Ball technique, the Destructo disc. It's a fan favorite in games, and it's a very deadly technique unless you're someone who can survive being bisected on the spot like Boo. This video has certainly been a long time coming, I think. Introduced in chapter 221 in the original Dragon Ball manga, the Destructo disc, also called the Kienzan in the original Japanese, is the signature technique of Krillin, or Kuririn. Oddly enough, in the anime, Krillin utilizes it on episode 27, the same episode that Piccolo sacrifices himself, though we need to note Piccolo does not die and Goku does not arrive until the next episode after. Anyway, when I first began to think on how I would structure this video, I had it in my mind to give a similar treatment to my videos Tien in the Tri-Beam and Yamcha in the Wolfang Fist. However, while the Tri-Beam is linked heavily with Tien's past, and the Wolfang Fist's thematic design, along with Yamcha's design, could be seen heavily in Toriyama's earlier works, there was unfortunately not as much to go on with Krillin and his most well-known creation. But after thinking on it a while, there are a few things we can surmise from Krillin's character that might give us some insight into Toriyama giving him this specific technique. Now, despite his sort of unique experiences and upbringing, Krillin is typically seen as the everyman of the Z-Fighters. He's not typically associated with being handsome like Yamcha or Goku. He's generally shorter than all of his friends, he tends to lag behind Goku and Tien in strength, and usually, particularly in filler, he tends to have a lot of problems romantically. These are sort of surface-level observations. People tend to forget that he was trained by the strongest masters in the world and generally does quite well in tournaments. And though he has a few bouts of cowardice, he tends to be quite brave and dependable. And it's this last bit that led me to think on why he decided a technique like this would be the most suitable for his combat needs. You see, after the 22nd tournament, Krillin was violently killed by Tambourine, and so he was missing the entirety of the King Piccolo arc. Once he was revived, he had 3 years to train and prepare for the next tournament, and he made a good showing of his combat prowess, but was ultimately unable to defeat Piccolo on his first match. And though we as a viewer don't tend to think of it this way, I believe if I was in Krillin's position, I would be cursing myself quite heavily. Particularly because 1, I was unable to help fight Piccolo's father due to my weakness, and 2, if I had stopped Piccolo there, perhaps Goku would not have been maimed and the world would not have been in such danger. And after Goku, some might say foolishly, let Piccolo flee, Krillin was left with a feeling that might make him think he needed to step up and create something that would bridge the gap between himself and those who are stronger than him, particularly because he is the dependable, competent friend of the main cast. Plus, while Krillin does enjoy martial arts and getting better, he also does not enjoy fighting for his life, like most sane people. And so all of this sort of regret, need to improve himself, and the desire to end a fight quickly left him with a unique need to create something that could accomplish all of those things. And so Krillin created the Destructo disc, or Kienzan, to compensate. Now, this technique is incredibly deadly for obvious reasons. It has the capability to cut through almost anything, apparently. There was a rumor going around back in the early days of the fandom that it canonically could cut through anything, but after a while the more serious fans began to realize there was no proof of that. However, the reason the rumor began was because whenever Krillin had used it, even on opponents monumentally stronger than him, it cuts, which makes it an effective and violent technique. In fact, I had friend of the channel Dave tell me the most accurate translation of Kienzan, and Dragon Ball Wiki is somewhat incorrect. It's not technically Energy Circle Cut. It's closer to Energy Circle Behead or Energy Circle Murder, which is metal as fuck if you ask me. Now, we need to note that Krillin only uses this technique 3 times, or at least 3 instances in the original manga. He first uses it against Nappa, after showing some impressive skill in keeping the giant Saiyan busy for a few moments, and right when Nappa is about to turn the tables on him, he pulls out his new trump card, which is the Destructo disc. In this instance, and the next one, in fact, it takes him a few moments to prepare the technique, either to summon the energy or to manipulate it to its keen, cutting edge, and he also says the name of the technique as he does it. Now, this first time, just like the other times, Krillin raises his hand above his head to summon the disc. In the full-color version of the manga, it is yellow, just like in the anime. So Krillin uses it twice in the same fashion in the Saiyan saga. Once against Nappa, and once when he attempted to cut off Ozaru or Great Ape Vegeta's tail. Now after that, the next time Krillin uses it during the Frieza fight, after he is healed by Dende and Gohan is beaten down. Krillin shows up and nearly cuts Frieza in half, though Frieza in his second form is quite powerful and quick, and sees the attack and dodges at the last moment, but not before his tail gets cut off. Krillin then decides to pull out a new variation of the technique, in sort of a burst fire mode, rapidly throwing multiple discs at Frieza, making the tyrant frantically dodge. This is a departure from his Saiyan Saga capabilities, because now he can summon the disc without needing to charge up, and he can do it multiple times in rapid succession. This means he either learned how to do so on the way to Namek with his mental training, or more likely his increased strength from Guru allowed him to summon the energy far more quickly and efficiently. Or perhaps it was a combination of the two. However, this is the last time in the original series that Krillin utilizes the move outside of filler, though he does use it quite a bit in various non-canon media like Movie 3 Tree of Might, as well as performing it in Super a number of times. We do need to acknowledge that throughout the original series, other characters have also performed disc-like ki moves, using them in a similar fashion to a Destructo disc or Kienzan. Vegeta uses one to cut off Ozaru Gohan's tail. Android 18 uses it to cut the fabric between Goten and Trunks, masquerading as Mighty Mask. And Goku fires one at Bootanks from behind and briefly cuts him in half. However, I am very hesitant to call them true Destructo discs or Kienzans. Not only are they never named like Krillin names his, but they are typically not formed in the same way, and there is no proof any of them have the same degree of cutting power as Krillin's. Krillin's move consistently presents a danger to far more powerful targets than Krillin himself, as Nappa is between nearly 3 to 4 times Krillin's strength, and second form Frieza being around a dozen times Krillin's strength. And both are cut, and the manga heavily implies they would be cut in half if the disc connected. Meanwhile, while Ozaru Gohan is stronger than Vegeta, a Great Ape's tail is quite easy to cut, through multiple instances throughout the series. From Poir cutting Goku's tail in the Pilaf saga to Yajirobe cutting Vegeta's in the same saga, Vegeta cuts Gohan's. Now, Bootanks is far stronger than Goku, but Boo's body is very malleable and easily manipulated. Even bullets make craters in Boo's body, so it was not a huge feat that Goku cut Boo in half, especially with the element of surprise. Same with Android 18 cutting through cloth. Now, we do have Frieza's Death Saucers, which are the purple or purplish-red discs in the anime that Frieza can control. At first, it seems like a completely superior move to Krillin's Destructo disc, but while Frieza does claim it can slice through anything, we never get to see it cutting through someone of superior strength than Frieza. The one time it actually cuts anyone other than himself, the disc cuts base Goku's cheek. So while there is greater maneuverability, you really need to decide if you'll believe in an arrogant tyrant who has never met anyone he would have used them on before anyway. Also, I should note that Cell uses the Death Saucer in the Cell games against Goku in filler, and Krillin uses the Destructo disc against Perfect Cell in filler as well, and also the Cell Juniors use it against Super Saiyan 2 Gohan in filler. There might be more, but those are what I recall at least. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I love the Destructo disc, it's a banger move. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe if you believe I deserve it at least. I have links to my social media and other channels below, and the Patreon too. If you have some loose change, it would be a massive help if you contribute to a little, but no pressure. Thanks guys, have a great one.